Hello and welcome to PNG Resource Talks, Concession and PSA Agreement. Today we will be deeply looking into this. This is just a basic ideas that I need to share with you guys. This is to broaden our understanding of what's going on with our resources, especially mining and oil and gas that were extracted in our country, and we need to understand some basics about type of agreements that were signed by our government, and we look better into who benefits and who's not benefiting from it. Today's episode, we ask a big question: what is PSA agreement and concession agreement? In Papua New Guinea, our land is rich with oil, gas, copper, and more. When the big companies comes to develop these resources, the government must sign an agreement. There are two main types of agreement. Number one is concession agreement, from which the company gets the rights and pays PNG taxes and royalties. In production sharing agreement, the company and PNG share the resource output. This agreement decides who gets what, how much money PNG will get, what benefits the landowners, what benefits the landowners receive. Let's look at the example of concession agreement. You sign a concession deal with a company. The deal says the company owns the coffee once they take it. You get a royalty of 2% and maybe some tax money. The company sells its bag for 100 kina, so the total sale equals 100 bags times 100 kina is equals to 10,000 kina. Your royalty is 2% of that 10,000 kina, which is 200 kina. The company keeps the rest, which is 9,800 kina. That was in concession agreement. In concession, you only get a small cut, which is royalty. The company takes the most. So you compare that with 200 kina. When the company keeps 9,800 kina, you only are given 200 kina, which is not fair. As owner of the coffee, you should have a big amount, but you only walk away with that 200 kina, which is not fair. So it applies to our minings, where our government signs 2% agreement with this concession agreement, and it's crippling our economic growth in this country. You just look at what's happening with our country, like most hospital doesn't have medicine because government doesn't have enough money to buy these medicines, and all other services are crippling because of we don't have money. If the government comes up with some good policy or good agreement like PSA, this country would have developed. When the Paguna mine started in Bougainville, we could have developed this country economically with these minings that which already operated, like Paguna gold mining and Misima and others that which are currently operating. We should have developed and have enough money, but just because of that concession agreement, our country is struggling with economy and is borrowing a lot of money and creating a lot of burdens on us, just ordinary citizens on this country. And let's look at the production sharing agreement, and this is the example. You sign a PSA deal with a company. The deal says the company helps you sell the coffee, but you share the profits. First, the company takes out costs, example like transport, factory fees. For example, transport and factory fees will add up to 4,000 kina. Then you split the remaining profit 50-50. So total sale is 10,000 kina minus company cost is which is 4,000 kina. So remaining amount is 6,000 kina from that 10,000. Remaining 6,000 kina was divided equally with the coffee owner and the company. So the company kept 3,000 kina and the owner of the coffee get 3,000 kina. So it's a nice deal for the coffee owners. When comparing with the concession agreement, company retained 9,800 kina and the owner of the coffee walk away with 200 kina, which is unfair because the coffee is not for the company, but the company benefits a lot and the owner only gets 200 kina. So this time we understand that PSA agreement is better than concession agreement. So it took PNG 50 years to develop its economy, but it's still struggling. So government must this time decide PSA agreement. In summary, let's see. In concession agreement, you receive 200 kina from that 10,000 kina. The company keeps 9,800 kina. In PSA agreement, you receive 3,000 kina and the company keeps 3,000 kina. So that's a fair deal. So we suggest our government should consider Mamar LLC and landowners. PNG state administered by New Island provincial government receive 50% of the royalty. Ni Mamar LLC receives 30%. Landowners, SML block owners receive 20%. So on 100% of the 2% royalty, PNG state via New Island provincial government 1% of the gold sold value. Ninamar LLC receives 0.6%. Landowners receives 0.4%. Example calculation: if Lihir sells 100 million kina worth of gold, 2% royalty, which is 2 million kina. State, New Island provincial government receive 1 million kina. Nimamar LLG receives 0.6 million. Landowners receive 0.4 million. In summary, concession royalty rate is 2% of gold sales value. PNG government says is 1% up of that royalty. Remaining 1% splits 0.06% to local level government and 0.4% to landowners. This is how Lihir concession agreement distributes benefits between PNG and local stakeholders. So you may look him. Time Lihir gold mining and Salim gold name kisim 100 million kina. Okay, inside on 100 million kina. Okay, PNG you kisim 2 million kina. Okay, inside 2 million kina, 1 million kina iko longgap man. Nanarap la 1 million kina iko lo ni mamar LLC na o landowners. So all split him slam money go ika. So look him. Company kisim 98 million kina while you kisim 2 million kina. So on straight. So more better you must do away with this concession agreement. Suppose PNG apply PSA agreement. It's 100 million kina. PNG by kisim 50 million. Company by kisim 50 million. And selakain so selakandri by you reach low goal na kofan and selakain, but in reality honest all slam people company all come up lo goal na all slana all walk away with big amount money na. Papua New Guinea, we are just catching these crumbs falling from these big companies na emitting or some seminapi. Honest, we are just a slave in our own country. Many countries around the world have used production sharing agreement successfully, especially in the oil and gas sector. Countries like Indonesia, East Timor, Nigeria, Kazakhstan, and Azerbaijan. These are the countries who were successful with the PSA agreement. Countries successful with the PSA agreements, one of them is Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the first countries to use PSA since the 1960s. The government retains ownership of oil and gas resources. Foreign companies get a share at the cost. Results attracted major oil companies while giving government steady income. Indonesia was successful with PSA agreement because of the following factors: strong legal framework, experienced national oil company like Pertamina, and transparent cost recovery process. That was Indonesia, so it was successful with PSA agreement, and now they are very successful and is one of the fast developing countries. Nigeria uses PSA mainly in deep offshore oil fields. Government via NNPC share production with companies like Shell, Total, and Chevron. The success factors: as Nigeria was successful because of the following factors like structured fiscal terms, clear rules for cost recovery, large reserves attract investors despite challenges. The third country that was successful with PSA agreement is Azerbaijan, which is famous for PSA with BP in the Azeri Shirak Guneshi oil fields. Country earned billions in oil revenue while BP developed the project. Success factors are clear contract structure, government owns the oil, long-term production benefit shared. The fourth country which is successful with the PSA agreement is East Timor. It uses PSA for its oil and gas production in the Timor Sea, partnered with Australia and global firms. Strong legal terms help this new country earn revenues. Success factors are transparent national oil company, which is Timor GAP, fair sharing terms, and regional cooperation. By looking at this PSA agreement, we can see that PSA is developing success stories, and they have a clear legal system. Why? Because investors need rules they can trust. Second is strong state agencies like in PNG case is Comol Petroleum. Okay, number third point is a good fiscal balance. A company gets profit, but state gets fair share. Transparent cost recovery, so company doesn't inflate costs. Stable political system, reduce contract risk. So in Papua New Guinea, we need a stable political system, transparency, cost recovery, good fiscal balance, strong state agencies, and clear legal system. Let's look at the case of our LNG project here in Papua New Guinea. Many landowners are yet to get their royalties because government didn't sign this PSA agreement, but they signed a sugar-coated oil and gas act, which is not fully PSA agreement. That's why you see that a lot of landowners still waiting for their royalty payment, and when the government get its share and it sees that it doesn't have money, so maybe the government keeping some of their money, and the landowners, while waiting, some of them passed away, and the next generation coming up and demanding the government to make their payment, so which is not good. The government need to come up with PSA agreement, not sugar-coated ones like PNG oil and gas act. It may not help us in a long run. but we want clear PSA agreement to develop this country from our oil and gas. Papua New Guinea need a PSA agreement. You look in the case law, Lihir gold mining here. Government sign him agreement lo by kisim 2%. Nansela nara fla wanem 98% lo profit blow mining here musai kisim. Okay, mipla papatro lo also minerals. Na yet yumi sign him agreement lo by mipla kisim 2%. Sila ino lo korai tumas. Yumi Papua New Guinea need lo. Totok strong ng government mas sign him agreement lo. PSA agreement because country and by benefit good through no. And by inap intending blow you plan demand mary Timor company operate Papua New Guinea enough money na plan diplomi plan by work money na slakai. Now PSA and sila concession agreement ni work lo. Crippling plan di something na now mi plan di no work money to.